I'm not who you think I am.
Lila, don't walk away!
She was never Lila.
You stole my life.
I took what wasn't strong enough to survive.
Welcome back to the story. If this is your first time here, you're stepping into something powerful, so make sure you go back and watch episode 1 to understand how it all began. This isn't just a story about wealth or identity, it's about survival, truth, and becoming who you were always meant to be. Before we continue, tell me in the comments. Where in the world are you watching from? Globe showing Europe, Africa. And if you're ready, let's continue. The night felt colder than it should have. Lila sat quietly in Ethan's car, her hands clenched together in her lap. The city lights passed by in blurred streaks, but she barely noticed them. I can help, Ethan said gently, breaking the silence. With what? She asked, her voice tired. Everything. Your job, your brother, whatever you need. Lila shook her head slowly. People don't just help like that. I do, he replied. She turned to look at him, searching his face for an angle, a hidden motive, but there was none she could see. That's exactly why I don't trust it, she said. Back at her apartment, reality hit harder. Noah's condition had worsened. His breathing was uneven, his skin too hot. We need a doctor, Lila whispered, panic creeping in. You don't have time to figure this out alone, Ethan said firmly. Let me take you. For a moment, pride fought with desperation. Desperation won. The hospital lights were harsh, unforgiving. Doctors moved quickly, voices low but urgent. Lila stood outside the room, her arms wrapped tightly around herself, as if holding herself together. Ethan approached carefully. He's going to be okay. You don't know that, she snapped. Then immediately softened. I'm sorry. He's all I have. Ethan nodded. Then you won't face this alone. She didn't respond. But this time, she didn't push him away. Across the city, Victoria Hale sat in silence, reviewing updates. The diner is shut down, her assistant reported. She's unemployed. Victoria nodded slightly. Good. And her brother is in the hospital. That made her pause. Perfect, she said quietly. Her plan wasn't just to remove Lila. It was to break her. The next morning, Lila walked through the hospital hallway, exhausted but steady. A doctor approached her with a file. We've stabilized your brother, he said. But he'll need ongoing treatment. How much? She asked, already fearing the answer. The number hit like a blow. Lila swallowed hard. I'll figure something out. You don't have to, Ethan's voice came from behind. She turned. No, she said quickly. I'm not taking your money. It's not about pride, he replied. It's about saving him. And what happens after that? She shot back. I owe you forever. Ethan hesitated. That silence said more than words. Days passed, and pressure built. Bills stacked up. Calls came in. Opportunities disappeared. Every door Lila knocked on seemed to close before she could step through. Until one didn't. A woman approached her outside the hospital. You're Lila Monroe? She asked. Lila nodded cautiously. My name is Margaret Whitmore. I work with a private foundation. We help people in situations like yours. Lila frowned. Why? Margaret smiled politely. Let's just say, someone recommended you. The offer seemed too good to be true. Medical bills covered. Temporary housing assistance. Even a job opportunity. What's the catch? Lila asked. No catch, Margaret said smoothly. Just a chance. Lila hesitated. Then thought of Noah. "I'll do it," she said. That night, Ethan found out. "You accepted help from someone else?" he asked, clearly unsettled. "I didn't have a choice," Lila replied. "You had me." "That's exactly the problem," she said. Ethan's jaw tightened. "You think I'd use this against you? I don't know you well enough to say you wouldn't." That hit harder than she expected. Silence followed. And something fragile between them cracked. Meanwhile, in a quiet office, Margaret Whitmore placed a file on a desk. Victoria glanced at it. "Is she in?" Victoria asked. "Yes," Margaret replied. Victoria smiled faintly. "Good. Keep her close." "Why her?" Margaret asked carefully. Victoria's eyes darkened slightly. "Because she doesn't know who she is yet." Late that evening, Lila sat beside Noah, who was finally sleeping peacefully. For the first time in days, she could breathe. She reached into her bag and pulled out the torn document again. Vaughn. This time, she didn't put it away. Instead, she searched the name on her phone. Her heart pounded as results filled the screen. The Vaughn family. Wealthy. Powerful. Untouchable. And then. A photo. An old one. A little girl standing beside a couple. Lila froze. Her hand began to shake. The girl looked exactly like her. "No," she whispered. "It couldn't be. Could it?" At that same moment, across the city, Victoria stood by her window, looking out over the glowing skyline. "She's getting closer," Margaret said quietly. Victoria didn't turn. "Let her," she replied. A small, dangerous smile formed on her lips. "The higher she rises, the harder she falls." Back in the dim hospital room, Lila stared at the screen, her entire world shifting beneath her. Her voice barely came out. "Who am I?" And for the first time, the truth was beginning to answer. Lila didn't sleep that night. The glow from her phone lit up her face as she stared at the image again and again, the little girl beside the elegant couple. The resemblance wasn't small. It was undeniable. Same eyes. Same smile. Same face. "This doesn't make sense," she whispered. Her heart pounded as she scrolled further. Vaughn family tragedy, daughter missing for 15 years. Her breath caught. Missing. Not dead. Missing. The next morning, everything felt different. The hospital room. The hallway. Even the air. Lila looked at Noah, who was finally stable, and forced a smile. "I'll be back soon, okay?" "You look weird," Noah said weakly. "Like you just found out something big." She hesitated. "Maybe I did." Across town, Ethan sat in his office, distracted. Files were open in front of him, but his mind wasn't there. "Sir, you asked for the background check," his assistant said, placing a folder down. Ethan opened it slowly. Everything about Lila Monroe. Or at least, what existed. His eyes narrowed. "This is incomplete," he said. "There are gaps," the assistant admitted. "No records before a certain age." Ethan leaned back, troubled. People don't just appear out of nowhere. Meanwhile, Lila followed a lead. The address listed under the Vaughn family brought her to a massive estate, hidden behind iron gates and guarded silence. She stood there, small in comparison to its grandeur. "This is crazy," she muttered. But she didn't leave. Instead, she stepped forward. "Can I help you?" a security guard asked. Lila swallowed. "I think I might belong here." The words sounded insane. But something inside her said they were true. Inside the estate, a housekeeper named Evelyn Carter studied Lila carefully. "Say that again," Evelyn said. Lila took a breath. "I found something, about the Vaughn family. About a missing girl." Evelyn's expression shifted, just slightly. "You should leave," she said quickly. But Lila didn't move. "Please," she said. "I just need to know the truth." Evelyn hesitated. Then, quietly. "You have her eyes." That was all it took. Back in the city, Ethan dug deeper. The Vaughn name surfaced in his research. Wealth. Influence. And then. A connection. Victoria Hale. Ethan froze. "No," he murmured. He picked up his phone immediately. Victoria sat calmly when Ethan stormed into her office. "You've been busy," he said coldly. She smiled faintly. "I always am." "You set her up," he accused. Victoria tilted her head. "Careful, Ethan. You're starting to sound emotional. She's not just some random girl, is she?" Victoria stood slowly, walking toward him. "No," she said softly. "She's not." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Then what is she?" Victoria leaned closer, her voice almost a whisper. "A problem." Back at the Vaughn estate, Lila sat in a quiet room, her hands trembling. Evelyn returned with something. An old photograph. She placed it on the table. Lila looked down. It was the same photo she had seen online, but clearer. And on the back, written in elegant handwriting. Alessandra Vaughn, age 8. Lila's vision blurred. "That's not possible," she said. Evelyn's voice softened. "The night she disappeared, there was an accident. A fire. Everyone believed she was gone." Lila shook her head slowly. "I remember nothing." Evelyn nodded. "Then someone made sure you didn't." The truth didn't feel empowering. It felt terrifying. At the same time, Ethan confronted Victoria again. "You knew," he said. Victoria didn't deny it. "Yes." "Why?" he demanded. "Because power protects itself," she replied coldly. "And the Vaughn name is power." Ethan stared at her. "What did you do to her?" Victoria's expression didn't change. "Nothing she couldn't survive." But Ethan knew better. This wasn't over. Not even close. That night, Lila returned to the hospital, her mind overwhelmed. She sat beside Noah, staring at him. "If I'm not who I think I am," she whispered, "then what happens to us?" Noah opened his eyes slightly. "You're still you," he said simply. That hit deeper than anything else. Lila closed her eyes, holding his hand tightly. Maybe her name was Alessandra Vaughn. Maybe her past had been stolen. Maybe powerful people wanted her gone. But one thing was clear. She wasn't the girl who would run anymore. Across the city, Victoria looked out over the skyline once again. "She knows," Margaret said. Victoria nodded slowly. "Good." Her eyes darkened. "Now we begin." And somewhere between fear and truth. Lila Monroe. Or Alessandra Vaughn. Finally stepped into the life that had been waiting for her. The truth didn't feel like power. It felt like pressure. Lila sat in the hospital hallway, staring at her reflection in the dark glass. The name Alessandra Vaughn echoed in her mind, but it didn't feel like hers. "Not yet. I don't even remember them," she whispered. Evelyn's words lingered. "Someone made sure you didn't." That thought was heavier than anything else. Ethan arrived minutes later, breath slightly uneven. "I know," he said before she could speak. Lila looked at him, surprised. You know about the Vaughns? He nodded. And I know someone who's been watching you, is connected to them. Her expression hardened. Victoria. Ethan didn't answer. He didn't have to. Silence stretched between them. You should have told me, Lila said quietly. I was trying to protect you, Ethan replied. By hiding the truth, she shot back. Ethan stepped closer. I didn't even know the full truth myself. But you knew enough, she said. That was the moment something shifted. Trust didn't shatter all at once. It cracked. Across the city, Victoria sat across from a powerful man, Richard Vaughn. Older. Calculated. Controlled. You've handled this poorly, he said calmly. Victoria didn't flinch. She was supposed to stay gone. And yet she's here, he replied. A pause. Then his voice dropped slightly. If she proves who she is, everything changes. Victoria's eyes narrowed. Then we make sure she can't. Back at the hospital, Lila made a decision. I'm going back, she said. To the estate. Ethan frowned. That's not safe. Neither is not knowing who I am, she replied. There was no fear in her voice this time. Just determination. The Vaughn estate felt different when she returned. Heavier. Like it was waiting for her. Evelyn met her at the door. You came back, she said. I need answers, Lila replied. Evelyn studied her for a moment, then nodded. Then it's time you saw everything. Inside, hidden behind years of silence, were records. Photos. Medical files. And one sealed document. Evelyn hesitated before handing it over. This was never meant to be opened again. Lila took it slowly. Her hands trembled as she unfolded it. Her eyes scanned the page. Then stopped. Her breath caught. This says, she whispered. I wasn't just lost. Evelyn's voice was quiet. No. Lila looked up, shaken. I was taken. At that same moment, Ethan uncovered something worse. Security footage. Old. Buried. But still there. A car. A child. A man. And standing nearby. Victoria. Ethan's blood ran cold. Back at the estate, Lila's world shifted again. They erased me, she said slowly. They replaced my life with nothing. Evelyn nodded. To protect something, or someone. Lila clenched her fists. No, she said. Her voice stronger now. They didn't protect anything. They stole everything. For the first time, anger replaced confusion. And it gave her strength. That night, Victoria stood watching the city again. She's digging, Margaret said. Victoria smiled faintly. Good, she replied. Let her come closer. Her eyes darkened. It'll make the fall unforgettable. The next morning didn't bring clarity. It brought consequences. Lila stood outside the Vaughn estate gates, staring at the name engraved in metal. Vaughn. It felt heavier now. Not like a mystery. Like a battle. Ethan pulled up beside her. You shouldn't be alone right now, he said. Lila didn't look at him. You lied to me, she said. I didn't lie, he replied. I just didn't know everything. That doesn't change anything, she said. Now she turned. Her eyes weren't soft anymore. They took my life, Ethan. And you were standing next to someone who helped them. That hit hard. I didn't know how deep it went, he said. Then figure it out, she replied. And decide whose side you're on. Across town, pressure was building. Richard Vaughn sat in silence, reviewing documents. She's asking questions, Margaret said. Richard nodded slowly. Then we answer them. Victoria turned sharply. That's a mistake. Richard looked at her calmly. No, he said. Losing control is the mistake. At the hospital, Noah was getting stronger. But he could see the change in Lila. You're different, he said. She forced a small smile. I'm still me. No, he said. You're stronger. That surprised her. Later that day, Lila received a message. If you want the truth, come alone. No name. No explanation. Just an address. Ethan didn't like it. This is a setup, he said. Probably, Lila replied. And you're still going? She looked at him. Yes. The location was abandoned. Quiet. Too quiet. Lila stepped inside carefully. Hello, she called. Footsteps echoed. Then a voice. You shouldn't have come. Lila turned. A man stepped forward, older, nervous, conflicted. I was there, he said. Her heart stopped. Where? She asked. The night you disappeared. Everything slowed. What happened to me? She whispered. The man hesitated. They were supposed to protect you. But something changed. Victoria, he continued, his voice shaking, she gave the order. Lila's world cracked open. They took you, he said. And made sure you'd never come back. Before Lila could respond. A loud crash. The man dropped instantly. Lila screamed. Behind her. Victoria stepped out of the shadows. Calm. Controlled. Unshaken. You're asking the wrong questions, she said. Lila stepped back, fear mixing with anger. You did this, Lila said. Victoria tilted her head slightly. I did what was necessary. For what? Lila demanded. Victoria's voice turned cold. For power. Silence filled the space. Lila's voice trembled, but didn't break. You stole my life. Victoria stepped closer. No, she said quietly. I took what was never strong enough to survive. That was the moment everything changed. Lila straightened. Tears in her eyes. Fire in her voice. You're wrong. Victoria paused. I survived, Lila said. And now. I'm taking it back. For the first time. Victoria didn't smile. Sometimes life hides your true identity behind struggle, not to break you, but to prepare you. Lila didn't rise because she discovered she was rich. She rose because she never gave up when she was poor, invisible, and alone. Your beginning does not define your ending. Your struggles are not your identity. And no matter how hidden your story is, truth always finds its way to the surface. If this story moved you, inspired you, or kept you on the edge, don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to the channel. And get ready, because in the next episode, everything explodes, betrayal, power, and a truth that could destroy everything.